We're a month away from NFL free agency, but before we get there, I want to take a look at the guys that are slated to hit the market. I want to take a look at some of these top free agents and where they can end up. But of course, before we go over the free agent class, we got to take a look at who's got the money to spend currently. Now, a lot of these numbers will change as teams make their move in preparation for free agency, but currently we have 7 teams that will have over $50 million in cap space available to them, with the tight ends having over $104 million in cap space. The Raiders not too far behind with $91.5 million. But I think the most intriguing thing here, or scary depending on how you want to view it, we have teams like the Chargers, the Seahawks, the Rams. Shoot, you can even throw the 49ers, the Patriots, that have a lot of cap space available to them this free agent class. So they're going to be able to make a lot of moves. Now, I mean, granted, some teams like the Seahawks, and I mean, you could even say the Rams, that whole secondary, you're about to see hit the open market. But a lot of these guys are going to have to retain their own players. But as far as like teams in the negative, like the Falcons, with what they're going to do with Kirk Cousins, we'll talk about Kirk Cousins when we get to the quarterbacks. But the Falcons, they're now just above or below the cap with $26.5 million. But we still got, 11 teams currently in the red when it comes to free agency, with the Packers just over the cap with $1.4 million. And the Texans, Bears, Saints, Bills, Lions, Jaguars, Dolphins, fins up, baby. The Dolphins can create a lot of cap space if they cut or move guys like Tyreek Hill, Mika Fitzpatrick, Bradley Chubb. I think those moves all combined to like free up somewhere between 40 to 50 million. So the Dolphins could be big players. Again, these teams have not made all their moves yet. There's going to be a lot of preparation when it comes to heading into free agency. But the Cowboys, they have decisions to make. They're currently almost $30 million over the cap. The Vikings at $40 million. And then the Chiefs, kind of a nightmare scenario. I feel like they're going to restructure a lot of people's contracts, but they're at $55 million over the cap. It's kind of insane, but let's go ahead. Let's actually get to this free agent class. Of course, we're going to go position by position, and we're going to start with the quarterbacks. Now, I went ahead. I ranked these guys. I know in past videos, I just kind of threw it together. This time, this is an actual ranking of like, I guess, who would I want to go after? Again, that's going to be different for every team. But Daniel Jones is my top quarterback available in free agency. Things are a little bit muddy with the, was it an Achilles injury? Yeah, a fractured fibula and an Achilles injury. Currently, he's projected to go for $43 million a year. I got these numbers from either Spot Rack or PFF. They typically do a good job of projecting what the value of these players will be when they hit the open market. Doesn't mean that's what they will go for. It's just a projection, but I think a lot of times they're closer than they are far away, I suppose. But Daniel Jones, I feel like he's going back to the Colts, right? And if not the Colts, I think the Jets have to be a player some way, somehow. Whether it's a one-year deal to a guy like Daniel Jones or maybe making a move to go get Kyler Murray. Because Aaron Glenn, you can't imagine if this guy has another year like he just did, that they're going to retain him. They might just bring in another head coach and be like, okay, you have 3 first-round picks in the 2027 draft. Have at it. So if you're Aaron Glenn, you kind of want to survive. And how you do that is getting some stability at quarterback, because Justin Fields ain't it. So that's why I have the Jets as a landing spot for Daniel Jones. It would be pricey, but I do think he heads back to the Colts. How that will look, we shall find out. Malik Willis coming here at number 2 for me. Just because, can he be a high-level starter? Probably not, but I mean, he's a relatively young player. He started to find his footing under LaFleur with the Packers. The Dolphins seem like an obvious landing spot with Halfley there now as the head coach. You could throw the Cardinals in there, because if they do move Kyler Murray, they're going to be in the market for another quarterback, or they could just run it with Jacoby Brissett and figure out quarterback in the 2027 offseason. whether that be the draft or free agency. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's got one more year left in him. He is currently slated to be a guy that's over 10 million. That's why I highlighted all the players that are projected to make over $10 million a year. So you're going to see that with each of these position groups. I feel like if Aaron Rodgers isn't back with the Steelers, I mean, I guess you could make a case for the Vikings, could be interested. But I feel like he probably goes back with Mike McCarthy if he chooses not to retire. After that, I decided to include Kirk Cousins. The plan is that they're going to release Kirk Cousins. Market value has him at only 1.4 million. I think that's not correct. That's not right. I could definitely see him heading back to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. You have such uncertainty with JJ McCarthy. Is he the guy? Is he not the guy? Now we just saw the GM get fired. Are we on this hot seat as a coaching staff? We might need to make things happen. And quarterback was a big problem for us last year. So I think the Vikings are a very easy spot to project Kirk Cousins. Maybe the Steelers, if Aaron Rodgers does retire. I don't know. We'll see about that. Trey Lance. I have Trey Lance here at number 5. And I think it's just because he's so young. Some of these quarterbacks develop at a much slower rate. I mean, shoot. Geno Smith was kind of the poster boy of that. Now Sam Darnold. Seemingly, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are kind of the faces of like, hey, didn't work out with the team that drafted him, but enough years in the league, and they develop into nice options. That's why I have Trey Lance here. I couldn't find a projected market value on him as far as like where to. That's actually a good question. I mean, I think the Jets probably could be an option, so I should probably just put the Jets here. What I'm going to do, let's hit a little Control-C, Control-V. Bam, there we go. We got the Jets. And then, I mean, from there on out, you're for sure, these are backup level quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota. I think it would be nice if he were to come back to the Commanders. I thought he did a relatively solid enough job. You can make a pitch to the Rams because you have Matthew Stafford. He's up there in years. You want to have a decent backup behind him. Russell Wilson's here at 7. He had some fun moments at the beginning of the year for the Giants, but yeah, he's for sure a backup in the league. Maybe the Chiefs. Then again, team that doesn't have a lot of money. Who knows? Joe Flacco, Tyler Huntley. You got Tyrod Taylor, Jimmy Garoppolo. Carson Wentz would be a little higher if he wasn't coming off, what was it, a shoulder injury, right? Yeah, shoulder injury. And I think those are all high-end to medium-level backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, the further we go down here are guys that are they're going to be in camp. Will they get a roster spot? Who knows? Gardner Minshew, apparently, initially it was ACL, but it turns out to be bone bruises. So that's interesting with Gardner Minshew. He should be back sooner rather than later. Mitch Trubisky has honestly been pretty solid as a backup for Allen, but you got Sam Howell, Skylar Thompson, Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett. I mean, nothing that's really going to ruffle your jimmies in a very positive way. It's not a great quarterback free agent class, but it never is going to be. If you're an NFL team, you're hardly ever going to let your guy at quarterback just walk out the door. Let's move to running back, though, because, wow, this is a fun class. Very fun class. As we got the likes of Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams. To me, those are kind of an easy top 4. Rico Dowdle with how he performed kind of in the middle part of the year, and granted, kind of slowed down near the end of the season, but he's young. He's up in, I think he deserves to be up in that conversation. Maybe a return to the Cowboys with Javonte Williams leaving, but I mean, you're virtually spending similar money there, so I don't know why you would. But currently the only one slated to make over 10 million is Breece Hall. I could see him going back to the Jets, or at least the Jets somehow finding a way to retain him. The Chiefs were a team that tried to trade for him prior to the trade deadline. Didn't happen. Are they going to be able to pay him? Again, Chiefs are kind of underwater when it comes to their cap situation. Kenneth Walker, with the way he performed, Zach Charbonnet, late season ACL injury. I imagine he's back. They were already talking about a new contract in Seattle during the parade, apparently. Kenneth Walker coming up to the GM like, hey, I know you've had a few drinks in you. Let's talk about this contract. ETN, I have a hard time thinking he's not going to be back with the Jaguars. He's been with Trevor Lawrence since Clemson. So, they go back, but you never know. I think the Saints could be a team that's interested. We project Jeremiah Love to the Saints a lot. That's a popular projection right now when it comes to the draft. So, Saints could be in the market to go after a running back. What is their cap situation? They're actually above. Right? No, they're just below. They're $6 million over, I should say. Tyler Algier, I got here at number 6. He's probably one of the best backups in the league. Will he get his time to shine somewhere? I don't know. Maybe not, but I could see him following Zach Robinson to the Bucks. They have Rachaad White as a free agent, so maybe they bring in someone to be a good complement to Bucky Irvin. I think that makes sense. And then Isaiah Pacheco, such a violent style. I have him as a low-end starter. I don't know if I love that. I couldn't really come up with a spot. I could see him coming back to the Chiefs, but what? Does he follow Nagy to New York? They already have Scattaboo and Tyrone Tracy, so I don't think that's an option. So I couldn't really figure out any spots for Pacheco, but we got J.K. Dobbins here. When healthy, really good. That's the thing. When healthy, not really a lot. But he's still young, 27. I could see him going back to the Broncos. I could see him going to the Browns. Don't know how severe Quinshon Judkins' injury was. They said he was pretty messed up. I heard some rumors. It could be career threatening. I don't know the validity to those comments, but even if Dobbins is coming in just as a compliment to Judkins, I like that. I like it quite a bit. Brian Robinson, I think he's still got some juice in him. I think he showed that with the Niners. I could definitely see him coming back to the Niners. Remember, we're in when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, it's like every other year. He's either really hurt or really good. We're coming off the really good year. Something tells me he might be really hurt next year. I don't know. Maybe I'm superstitious. So bringing in Brian Robinson, I think, would be pretty nice. A couple of really, I think, solid role players here in Kenneth Gainwell and Rachaad White. Rachaad White, I could definitely see him maybe going back to guys he's familiar with, right? You got Canals in Carolina. You have Liam Cohen in Jacksonville, especially if Jacksonville lets ETN walk out. Here, I got to let Gojo out. There you go, buddy. So there's possibilities there. Gainwell, he could really go anywhere, man. With his pass catching upside, he could go anywhere and be a good fit. Where specifically? Just close your eyes and just pick somewhere. A couple of other guys we got, and we're really getting into your role backup, just kind of depth. Jerome Ford, got Najee Harris down here. Kareem Hunt feels like he's going to be a Chief, so come on. Jeremy Nichols, Nick Chubb, and then again, some kind of like odd names, not odd names, but names that I could see if they get signed, maybe bouncing around a spot as they may get released in the middle of the season, like Khalil Herbert, Zamir White, Michael Carter, Damian Pierce, AJ Dillon. I've never been the biggest Hassan Haskins fan. I'm still not. So that could be very fascinating. But you look at this class, there's a lot of quality names. Like, I think you could go up to 11 and be like, there's 11 really good running backs in this free agent class that have some sort of starting caliber ability. It's kind of where I'm at with it. Before I continue on with the video, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app and sign up with promo code BROSHMO, they match that first deposit up to $1,000. Dollar Dues is the best place to play weekly best ball, or my favorite higher lower on player stats. It's not just the NFL. You can check out a baseball, a basketball, water polo, or shoot, aren't the Olympics on? I'm sure they got some fun stuff for the Olympicatos. Apparently that's a way to say it. It's not. I just made that up. But, of course, they got promos each and every day for you to take advantage of. But I know that first promo that you use, it's in fact going to be promo code Broshmo, because we are here on this channel, people helping people. But as always, play responsibly and play within your means. Let's talk wide receivers, because there is one white whale, I suppose, in this wide receiver free agent class, and it's George Pickens. His projected market value is close to $31 million a year. I have a hard time believing that the Cowboys will just let him walk. Why would they do that? They could franchise tag him. Still got to figure out their cap situation, but if he manages to leave Dallas some way, somehow, I could see the Jets being a big player, getting him to complement Garrett Wilson. Who's going to be a quarterback? Who the hell knows? But they have the cap space to afford a George Pickens, and also to maybe bring in even if it's just a bridge quarterback. We got Rashid Shaheed. I don't see him leaving Seattle. If he does, maybe he follows Kubiak to the Raiders. I just don't see him leaving Seattle. He's currently projected at $15.5 million. Alec Pierce is my next one up here. He's young. He's 26. He is a very, very good vertical threat. Currently projected at $20.2 million. The Bills seem like such an obvious landing spot. Just because, hey, we want a vertical threat. So much so, we brought back Gabe Davis. Didn't work out. Went out, got a guy like Brandon Cooks. They want that vertical aspect to their game. He brings size. He brings speed. To me, that just makes a ton of sense. I think Calvin Ridley's probably going to be let go in some shape or form. So the Titans with a ton of cap space makes a lot of sense for Alec Pierce. Juwan Jennings, one of my favorite receivers in the league. He just gets things done. Him, Romeo Doubs, another very quality wide receiver. Again, when he's not battling concussions, I think he's a really solid option there on the field. I think either of those guys, I mean, dude, their projected market values, especially Juwan Jennings, $22.6 million. Golly. I think he comes back to the Niners, though. It makes sense with Brandon Ayuk probably done with the Niners. Chargers could also be a landing spot with Keenan Allen being a free agent. With Romeo Doubs, the Bills make sense, but to me, I think they might want to he fits like all their other wide receivers on that roster. They just have a type, you know? And Romeo Doubs feels like their type. He could also maybe go to the Jets, be a compliment there to Garrett Wilson. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think, is one of the better slot players in this free agent class. A lot of speed, kind of showed off the vertical chops this year. I think it makes sense for him to come back to New York. If the Titans can't land an Alec Pierce, maybe they go with a Wan'Dale. But now you got him, Chamari DK, two fast guys in the slot. And we'll see. Deebo Samuel's coming here at number 7. I don't think he's completely washed. I really don't. I think if you get him with the right coaching staff, he could be very, very productive. Miami Dolphins could be a spot when they move off of Tyreek Hill. They're going to be looking for another wide receiver there to pair up with Waddle. I believe in Kubiak and how creative he is for the Raiders. So I think Deebo going to the Raiders could be a spot, but Deebo, I feel like, is kind of in. I mean, with these older players, you kind of assume they want to go wherever they have a shot to win. I mean, that's why with Mike Evans, I mean, he's 33. He managed to come back and play at the end of the year after having that collarbone injury. I don't see him going anywhere else other than the Bucks. I just don't. But after that, all the other receivers I have ranked here are currently projected under $10 million a year. I have Hollywood Brown. I think I'm higher on Hollywood Brown than a lot of people. I still think there might be something there. We haven't seen it in quite a while, but I think he could be still a quality wide receiver 3. I really do. Does that mean he lands back again with the Chiefs? Probably not, but I could maybe see the Bills, or really the Niners could be sneaky as well. I think that would be pretty cool. Keenan Allen, just old reliable. Quite literally old reliable here at 34. I could see him return to the Chargers, trying to end his career there. Maybe the Saints come in, try to get him for cheap, to have him and Chris Olave there for Shuck. Wanna just kind of help out your seemingly franchise quarterback. Jalen Naylor came on hot at the end of the year. I think I don't think the Vikings could retain him. They've already kind of made moves in preparation of him leaving. They took that Maryland receiver that I loved last year that I now can't remember the name. Taj something. I don't know. My mind's all about the 2026 NFL draft class. 2025, hardly knew you. But Christian Kirk, another guy who was hot at the end of the year. Quality journeyman that could be that reliable slot for you. And then after that, it's just a list of names that I think are just pure depth. I mean, we're talking the likes of De'Ami Brown, nice vertical target. He's young, he's 26. You could bring him in, give him a shot. Tyquan Thornton kind of somewhat resurrected his career with Kansas City, at least early in the year. Calvin Austin is a fun slot player that could also be a gadget player for you. I got a couple of reliable old heads here in Kendrick Bourne, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, Khalif Raymond. Again, not going to be the cup of tea for every team. But I think if you're a competitor, if you're going to be in the conversation of pushing for a championship, then you wouldn't mind having one of these guys in your locker room, part of your depth. Jahan Dotson, you got Tutu Atwell again, just kind of a who's who of names at this juncture. If anyone sticks out to you and you're like, oh, it makes me feel a certain way, then more power to you. But again, it's kind of just a who's who of names here. Maybe Tyler Lockett, I don't know, man. Like Josh Reynolds. Adam Thielen, isn't he just retiring? I don't know, man. I don't even know anymore. I mean, a couple of names that maybe stick out, like Treylon Burks, former first rounder, had a sick catch at the end of the year for the Commanders. Maybe if he lands in the right situation, could work his way off the bench and maybe prove himself, reemerge. But then again, wide receivers don't really have that. They don't have that bounce back, or kind of like quarterbacks we've seen where, okay, it hasn't worked where from the team where they drafted them. Maybe they go one spot or two spots and eventually something clicks and it's like, hey, this is the guy that, that initial team thought they were drafting. You don't really see that with wide receivers. You just don't. Let's go to tight end. It's a good tight end class. Pretty darn good tight end class. Kyle Pitts, easily the top guy there for tight ends. I would be shocked if the Falcons let him walk. If they do, Zach Robinson, Buccaneers gonna be losing Cade Otton to free agency. Maybe they go out and they spend on a Kyle Pitts. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I don't. Again, this is all about just trying to connect some dots. Dallas Goedert, I just can't see him not being an Eagle. I think he's still got some juice, man. I really do. So I think he's likely to come back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let Gojo in. Come in here, buddy. You're just waiting to hear me talk about Travis Kelce. Well, seemingly it sounds like he's not going to retire. So I might as well just put low end here. But he's going to be a Chief. So I don't know. I don't really want to talk about Travis Kelce because we know he's going to die a Kansas City Chief. Isaiah Likely, very interesting player who's been essentially splitting time there with Mark Andrews. He could go back to the Ravens, maybe. he goes to a place like the Giants, reunite with his former coach, Harbaugh. You got Nagy there, who's very familiar with running 2 tight end sets coming from the Chiefs. I mean, Noah Gray really carved out a role there. And I'm not saying that that's the role likely would play. It would be more of probably the Kelsey role. And then the Noah Gray role probably goes to Theo Johnson. But I think that could be a possibility. David Njoku, he's going to be, he said, I'm not coming back to the Browns. Hey, more power to you. I feel like he might go championship chasing. Falcons, if Kyle Pitts leaves. You got Buccaneers if Auden does end up leaving. I'm trying to think of the connections. Well, I think the connection's pretty obvious with Njoku and the Falcons because Stefanski's there now. So that could be a thing. Chigga Okonkwo, bring him back. It felt like him and Cam Ward were starting to develop some chemistry down the stretch. You have all this money, just pay Okonkwo. Cade Otton, I don't love Cade Otton. I really do think, honestly, I think this may sound terrible. I mean, he's a decent blocker, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna put Kelsey ahead of him. He could go to the Jags. They got strange there, but Liam Cohen used to coach the offense for the Bucks. So again, just trying to connect some dots there with Cade Otton. And then I think you have some, for sure, tight end 2s that can maybe make an impact. Darren Waller, if he wants to go again, he had the hip issues this year. Zach Ertz, I think, finished the year with an ACL. Yeah, torn ACL, so you don't love that. Noah Fant, I think Charles Collar, actually, former Iowa State tight end there. I think he could be a decent tight end too somewhere, man. He just got stuck behind the likes of Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Adam Troutman is like your poster boy for tight end 2s. Him and actually Austin Hooper are your poster boys for tight end 2s, but not really much to talk about after that. I mean, you might have some camp bodies and whatnot. Tyler Conklin coming off a very unproductive year. I didn't even think he saw a lot of snaps this season. You got the backups here from the Eagles, Grant Calcaterra, Kyle Granson, Taysom Hill's old at age 36. Tyler Higbee, maybe he's still got some left in the tank. Maybe I'm sleeping on Higbee. Maybe I am, but I still rather him depth than anything else. But yeah, good tight end class as it stands. I mean, look at that. Those are some quality names, just 7 quality names, just there, available for you in free agency, potentially. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics. And it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. Offensive tackle. Let's talk about it. Rasheed Walker, I think, is easily, not even close to be, is your top tackle. Like, there's nothing to talk about here. There's truly nothing to talk about here. Packers, I don't think they're going to bring him back. I think they would have already gotten a contract done if they really wanted to, but they did for guys like Zach Tom. Who else did they give a contract to this year? I can't even remember. I think they might just be ready to be like, okay, well, Jordan Morgan, you're the guy or you're not. Or maybe it's Anthony Belton. I don't know. We'll find out. But possible landing spots, I think the Panthers make a lot of sense with Ike Ekwonu suffering the late season patellar tendon injury. Those are hard to come back from. And he's already a guy that was seemingly entering a contract year. Maybe you just, if you're the Panthers, just make the decision. And they've been very active when it comes to trying to improve that offensive line. The Steelers, Broderick Jones hasn't really panned out. He had was it a neck injury to wrap up the season? So if you're the Steelers, maybe you just go out, you make a play for him. And I was looking at teams that really are searching for that left tackle spot. And I mean, unless like you have some teams that are going to move on from some old heads, I don't like the Steelers are the first team that come to mind. Yeah, like maybe you want to talk about the Broncos or the Raiders with guys like Colton Miller, Garrett Bowles that are up there in years. I don't know, man. I don't know. Braden Smith, I have him here as a tackle 2. He's just solid when healthy. Like, honestly, him and Jermaine Illuminor are kind of in the same tier for me. Just go and get this guy. They're going to be a good player on your offensive line, whether you're playing him at guard or you're playing him at tackle. That's why I have teams like the Jets. Like, the Jets don't have a tackle need. Yeah, get this guy to play guard. Or the Patriots, who've already come out and been like, hey, you know, we're going to keep... oh my gosh, why am I blanking on Campbell's name? What's his first name? Will Campbell. Golly, there we go. But they're going to keep Will Campbell at left tackle. But Illuminor, come in. Play him at left guard. Kick Jared Wilson into center, which is where he played at Georgia. So that's why I got those as potential landing spots. But I could see Illuminor staying with the Giants. The Texans just make a lot of sense to me. Brandon Smith, he's just got all this flexibility in the world. And then Braxton Jones. This could be just me being too high on Braxton Jones, because I still think there is a potential starting caliber center when it comes to Braxton Jones. The Browns, they're not going to be looking to want to pay a lot of money. They need 4 of their 5 offensive line spots are hidden free agency. I think they only have 3 offensive linemen on the roster going into next year. So Braxton Jones could be a cheap alternative to be a starter there at left tackle. We got Cam Robinson, who I think is just a good bridge option. So the Panthers make sense. The Bears could make sense while they got like a Trapillo coming back from injury. So that could be a good spot. Jonah Williams, he could come back with the Cardinals. Like, him being at 10 million, really, I don't love it. He is the most mid of mid. So yeah, the Browns sound on par for him. Got 2 old heads here in Trent Brown and Rob Havenstein. You could really put Cardinal for either of these guys. I think they're decent bridge options. So many Cardinals on this list. Well, right tackle's kind of a thing for him. Elijah Wilkinson's coming off a good year where he had to step in early because Caleb McGarry got hurt, and I thought he played well, so he could be a really good high-end backup option. Jack Conklin, it's hard to trust him to be healthy. Josh Jones is a guy to watch. I have never been sour on Josh Jones. He might just be a very good swing tackle in the NFL or 6th offensive lineman. There's still value there, and I think when he had to step in because of injury for Seattle, may have been a 1 or 2 starts, he played well. I've always been a sucker for Kendall Lamb. I think he's one of the best backups in the NFL. As long as he's not starting 5-6 games a year, I think it's fine. Same with Justin Skull, who played with the Vikings this past season. But then again, it's just kind of like, you got a whole list of guys that are really just depth options in the NFL. I mean, Fred Johnson, Trey Pipkins, George Fant. Yeah, we just got some names here. It's really all about, honestly, I would say these are probably, your top 3 guys. I think Jonah Williams. I think, honestly, if you don't land one of the top 3 guys, these are probably the guys you go after just to kind of fill in your roster. Then again, I mean, if Cam Robinson, Jonah Williams, Rob Havenstein, if that's the prices they're going for, then you might just ignore them flat out. Guard. Let's go with guard. Elijah Vera Tucker. Listen, I know he's been hurt. When on the field, he's so stinking good. I could see him coming back to the Jets. Maybe since he got hurt, the Jets are able to do it at a discounted rate. I could see the Raiders being big players. Kubiak. he saw firsthand, hey, when we go out and we try to address the trenches, good things happen. This would be one way to do that. Because you got Dylan Parham, he's hitting free agency. So you could say, yeah, that right guard spot's opening up if you want to keep Jackson Powers-Johnson at left guard, and then you have Meredith to play center or whatever. You got Isaac Samalu. He's going to be a free agent. He's just a quality starter. He's just a quality starter. If you need a guy to come in and be like the fourth best option on your offensive line, that's what Samalu could do for you. The Bills make sense with David Edwards potentially, apparently getting this massive haul. I don't see it, but we'll see. The Patriots again, because I always point to, okay, let's kick Jared Wilson back into center. And then David Edwards. This is like tackle money. What are we doing here? I don't see him getting that much, but I guess you never know. You never know. He could come back to the Bills. Maybe he's an option for the Jets, who have Elijah Vera-Tucker and Josh Simpson hitting free agency. Benito, I think, dies a Brown. That's just my take. I think he's got enough in the tank to be a one-year bridge player for you. Same with Kevin Zeitler from Tennessee. I really hope Zeitler just goes out there and ring chases. Maybe returns to, actually, that's a good, I like that call out. Maybe he returns to Baltimore. Maybe he returns to Cincinnati. I don't know. We'll see. Josh Simpson. I like Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson, Ed Ingram, I think are these guys that, well, Ingram, now he had the contract year. I don't really believe in him all that much. That's why I only have the Texans at a landing spot, especially if $13 million is going to be his going rate yearly. Simpson, though, I actually like a lot as just, hey, plug and play. We got an average starter for our offensive line. Mission accomplished. I think he can fit a lot of different spots. Wyatt Teller, after being kind of benched or rotated in at the end of the year, he's not coming. I don't think he's coming back. Then again, it's a new coaching staff, so maybe he does come back. I think the Titans could be a spot. They just kind of rinse and repeat with what they did with Zeitler. They bring in Wyatt Teller. Tevin Jenkins, I think when he's not hurt, he's a solid starter in the NFL, so he's kind of a bridge option. Zion Johnson, I don't think he's ever been good in the NFL. Maybe he goes back to the Chargers for $11.3 million. I don't love that. I don't want to spend that on Zion Johnson. The Saints, they're going to have a guard opening. Dylan Radins is a free agent. So if you're looking to fill in that spot, Zion Johnson could be an option. He's, again, Brandon Staley was the head coach there. Actually, so was Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was the OC. So there's some familiarity there when it comes to the Saints coaching staff and Zion Johnson. Dalton Reisner, I think, is really just this bridge option that you could just plug and play and get solid production from. I've forever been a Dalton Reisner fan. Greg Van Roten, he's old. When's he gonna hit the wall? And it's not like saying he's been like an elite level player. He's been good. And then we got some. I still want to believe in Dylan Parham. I really do. I think maybe if he goes somewhere else, he can revitalize that career. $10 million a year, though. I don't know. Sean Ryan, I think, has shown value, as in he can just play any position along the offensive line. He's kind of like a Robert Hainsey in that regard. I don't think that means he's necessarily a starting caliber player in the NFL. But I think he can be if he's like your fourth or fifth best offensive lineman. And then we just got some names that maybe did okay or just got starting time last year. Daniel Falele, you got Dylan Radins, Brady Christensen, Ben Barch suffered a couple of high ankle sprains, right? Oh yeah, the high ankle sprain and the Liz Frank injury. Woof. You got Andrew Wiley down here again, just kind of a who's who in names. I like Robert Jones as a good backup option. So actually, he'd be someone I'd want to come in and swoop up just as that backup option. But again, we're just kind of talking about depth, camp names at this juncture. But I mean, some of them saw some legit starting time this year. Spencer Burford being kind of a guy that, yeah, was it great? No, but he got starts. Starts mean something. Let's wrap up the offense with center, because low-key, kind of a good center group. Tyler Linderbaum, I don't see a world where the Ravens just let him go, but Harbaugh's not there. I think the Giants could make a play for him because John Michael Schmitz? He hasn't been anything special. His contract's going to be coming up in a year or so. The Chargers, they're going to be thirsty for players along the offensive interior. Linderbaum, again, maybe he just jumps from one Harbaugh to the next. Who knows? But he's slated to make $17.7 million there at center. Connor McGovern, slated to make $16.2 million. Not bad, not bad. I think he probably comes. I think the Bills opt to bring him back, maybe over a David Edwards. If not, then the Raiders could bring him in. Remember, Meredith has experience at both guard and center. They also have, who did they draft out of Texas Tech? Caleb Rogers is also there. So, I mean, you're just adding guys to the offensive line, hoping to figure out what that best rotation, what that best group of five is. Cade Mays played pretty solid last year and the year before for the Panthers. I imagine the Panthers bring him back. If not, Chargers definitely should be in the run in there. Luke Fortner is going to be interesting. He stepped in for Eric McCoy when he got banged up, and he actually played well. Luke Fortner did not play well as a Jag. Last year, he played well with the Saints. He could be back with the Saints. Or, again, a center-needy team. Maybe Cade Mays leaves. Panthers are like, hey, we need a center. Come on, Luke Fortner. Let's get you in on this. Ethan Posick, things are a little muddy with him. He's coming off the Achilles at the end of the year. I don't know if he gets signed quickly. I really don't. And I still have him as a starting caliber. Again, he'd be higher if not for the injury. And then you just got some good backups here. Brock Hoffman, Matt Hennessy, Austin Corbett's okay. So there's your center class. It's really, but I mean, I think you got 4, potentially 5 really good options. Depending if you're like me, I love Brock Hoffman at guard. I think he could be a good starting guard in the NFL. Again, kind of from can he be our 4th or 5th best offensive lineman? We start the defense off with the edge rusher position, probably the most popular position on the defense. And Trey Hendrickson, he's kind of the obvious top guy in this class, coming off a year where he was a little banged up. Was it a hip injury? I believe it was. It was indeed a hip injury, but we know what he's capable of. And if anything, the unfortunate thing about last season, it's probably took away from how much he's going to get. He's up there in years. He's currently projected at market value $25.5 million. He's not going back to the Bengals. Maybe a reunion with Coach Lou with the Colts makes too much sense because that's a team that needs help with pass rush. Outside of Latu, they could use another pass rusher. Trey Hendrickson, he would be the solution, at least for now. The Commanders could be an option as well, but I mean, the Commanders kind of did this whole dance where they brought in some old heads last year, and maybe they need to get a little bit younger. So maybe they chase potential youth like Jaelen Phillips, Odafe Owe, Oye Mafe. You got Clavon Chason. I mean, all those guys are going to be entering their age 27 season. Matter of fact, let's go over them. Because Phillips, if injuries weren't a concern with him, and I know that they are, I'm a former Dolphins fan, then he would be an edge one, man. I thought he played well last season. I think him coming back to the Eagles makes all the sense in the world. If not the Eagles, maybe again, the Cowboys are going to have to get some cap space, but maybe he follows Christian Parker, who granted, I think Christian Parker was the secondaries coach, but maybe he follows the guy that he was just being coached under to Dallas. I think could be a possibility. Again, just try and connect dots here when it comes to these landing spots. Speaking of connecting dots, Odafe Owe, man, the minute he showed up for the Chargers, he went off. I think he had 7 sacks during his time with the Chargers after he was moved during the trade deadline. He could come back to the Chargers, or he could follow the guy who he got 7 sacks under, and I'm pretty sure it was 7 sacks. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He could follow Jesse Minter back to Baltimore, which that's the funny thing, man. Maybe less than a year later, Odafe Owe returns to Baltimore just so he could be under Jesse Minter. I think that would be fun. You got Boye Mafe here, who's solid, man, but he just feels like a Robin. He doesn't always necessarily get the credit that he deserves. He's got a relatively good pass rush win rate. He's like fine. Maybe a place like the Bucks where, hey, we just need athletes off the edge. Didn't really work out with Hassan Reddick. We need a fast car. Boye Mafe is indeed a fast car. I think him returning to the Seahawks makes a lot of sense just because, well, they got a lot of money. Why not? Clavon Chason kind of slowed down by the end of the season, but I could see him coming back to the Patriots. If not, the Bengals love those relative athletic score guys, and Chason kind of fits into that. You got Joey Bosa. I think he's a mercenary at this point in his career. Get him as that DPR option. Go into a championship contender. So a place like the Niners would make sense. One of the worst, I think they were the worst team in terms of pressure rate last year. I know we all know that they were at the bottom, and granted, injuries happened with that, with Nick Bosa and Mikael Williams both going down to, I think, ACL injuries. But Joey would get to play with his brother Nick there. I think that would be really cool. The Ravens, of course, are an option, a team that didn't get a lot of pass rush. Maybe he heads over there with Minter. Khalil Mack kind of falls into a similar category. I believe he probably comes back to the Chargers. If not, maybe he just follows Minter to the Ravens. Again, just kind of connecting dots. Hey, if you want to really throw a spot out there, the Saints and Staley. Just saying. Javion Clowney, man, he may be old, but he's playing good football. He might not be playing like 500 snaps a year, but you know you're gonna get a good 300 to 400 snaps out of him. So I think that's probably him returning to the Cowboys seems like the most likely option because it's just cost effective for the Cowboys. Hassan Reddick's here because, listen, I want to believe that he's still got a little bit of juice left in the tank just to fly off the edge and kind of like a Bryce Huff type of role. So landing spot could really be anywhere. Draymond Jones, maybe he returns to the Ravens because he likes Jesse Minter. Maybe he goes to the Raiders because he's got a history with Kubiak. I know Kubiak, offensive-minded guy, but still. Yeah. I'm just gonna say, like, this next group, I think these are your guys. Yeah, these are your guys, and then the next group is like, okay, we put them in the rotation, and if we get more from them than that, then we're pleasantly surprised. Here, let me let go, Joe. So, like, Charles Omenihu, Dante Fowler, Malcolm Kuntz, who's coming off, like, it was hopefully kind of a comeback year after missing the year prior. It just wasn't great from Kuntz. He's still 28. Maybe he could revitalize his career somewhere else. You got Muhammad, he's just up there in years and played really well across from Aiden Hutchinson. I feel like anyone could do that. But maybe he goes to the Jets. There's some Lion familiarity there. We got Arnold Ebiketie, who's still young. Him and Kwity Paye, both seemingly high draft picks. I think Ebiketie was early second, though. Now I don't know off the top of my head. I'm pretty positive he was an early second. And his Wikipedia is going to tell me. What's it going to tell me? Yeah, it was the 38th pick of the second round. Okay. But you had two guys that were drafted highly in their respective classes and just didn't work out with the teams they were drafted by. So maybe they go get fresh starts elsewhere. Ebiketie maybe follows Raheem Morris to the 49ers or gets involved in that rotation with Minnesota just because Brian Flores is fun to play for. I could see Kwity Paye going to the Titans as Gus Bradley's there. There's a history with them. Shoot, you could throw Joseph Osai in that bucket as well. I just think these two guys offer a little bit more when it comes to 3-down potential. I would say that Joseph Osai is kind of the pass rush. If you're looking for the pass rusher, he's the pass rush guy. Kingsley Enagbare, he can get after the passer, but I think he's probably a better run stuffer than Osai. That's why, dude, Kingsley Enagbare, Dolphins makes all the sense in the world, reuniting with, son of a gun. Why am I blanking on my new head coach's name? Halfley. There we go. Joseph Osai. I mean, I guess the Colts could be an option. Maybe, sure. Why not? But I don't know. But then we got good depth options here in AJ Epinesa, Kyle Van Noy, DJ Wonham, Samson Ebukam. You got Arden Key. Jacob Martin's forever an underrated player. But yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I mean, if you're trying to look for steals, I don't know if there's necessarily that guy here. Maybe Michael Clemens, maybe. But yeah, there's your edge group. Let's jump to defensive tackle. Before I continue on with the video, I gotta give a shout out to our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. When you download the app and sign up with promo code BROSHMO, they match that first deposit up to $1,000. Dues is the best place to play weekly best ball, or my favorite higher lower on player stats. It's not just the NFL. You can check out a baseball, a basketball, water polo, or shoot, aren't the Olympics on? I'm sure they got some fun stuff for the Olympicatos. Apparently that's a way to say it. It's not. I just made that up. But of course, they got promos each and every day for you to take advantage of. But I know that first promo that you use, it's in fact going to be promo code BROSHMO, because we are here on this channel, people helping people. But as always, play responsibly and play within your means. As John Franklin Myers, for me, is the top defensive tackle get this year in free agency. I think he wants to be back with Denver. So there's a good shot he is, in fact, back with Denver. Maybe he goes to the Falcons because he's got a history with Ulbrich back during their time with the Jets. So that could be a thing there. But he's a very flexible player that could really play anywhere along that defensive line. DJ Reader, old head, going to be a rotation option. Maybe he returns back to the Lions. He's really just honestly pushing for a championship this year. Maybe he goes to the Bengals, former team. Could be. Let me let go, Jen. Okay, go, bud. I think it's wild. Like, listen, I love Calais Campbell. I'm a Hurricanes fan. Of course I love Calais Campbell. Former Dolphins legend, Calais Campbell. I think he played for us for like half a season or something. But well, 10, almost 11 million for a 1 year. I don't know about that. Is he still pulling money like that? What was his contract last year? Because I get it. He was very productive in like 500 snaps, but yeah, there was a 1 year deal worth initially 5.5 million, but it had a maximum value of 7.5 million. Dude, he's entering his age 40 year. People, how they have him projected 11 million? I could see him go ring chasing with the Chargers, or maybe he just stays put with the Cardinals and he just wants to retire a Cardinal. I could see either or. David Onyemata might not have like the most flashy stats, but he's a good player in the NFL. Older player, good veteran presence though. He could follow Raheem Morris to the Niners. He could go to the Chargers because, well, they have a need on the defensive interior. They already re-signed Tyler Tart, but more needs to be done. Animata is just a quality player in that regard. I love Daquan Jones. I think he's still at 34, a really good run stuffer. I could see him being back with the Bills just because he's been a very good presence there. Levi Onwuzurike is coming here at 6 for me. It's kind of a roll of the dice. He kind of had a semi-breakout year in 2024, but then he missed last year as he was recovering from a torn ACL from 2024. I think he's probably just back with the Lions. Probably. Jordan Rankins had a good year with the Texans. I feel like if you're the Texans, you just bring him back. That makes sense to me. But to me, these are the guys that I'd be excited about bringing in. Is there any one name that really like blows your pants off? No. Those guys just don't normally hit free agency, but yeah. Good depth options though. Larry Ogunjobi is not a bad option just to have his depth. Logan Hall, I think, has improved over his time with Tampa Bay, but I don't think I'd pay $8 million a year for him. Sebastian Joseph Day secretly has been one of my favorite players in the NFL. Just a very quality depth rotation player. You got Greg Gaines, Deshaun Hand, Roy Lopez, all good rotation options, depth options. Honestly, Chris Tonga feels like I should probably put him a little bit higher. Yeah, I'm going to put him right there. Played really good. Honestly, probably should be ahead of Gaines. Played really good for the Patriots this past season. So probably due to make a decent chunk of change as a rotation nose tackle type. After that, I mean, LJ Collier, he's had a lot of snaps. Shelby Harris is just a good locker room presence, good old head. Again, the further you go, the less luxurious the options become. There's just not a lot of guys you're going to want to like fork over some money for, you know? So there's your defensive tackle class. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. Let's go to linebacker, because linebackers are a really good class as well. Like really good free agent class. We got Devin Lloyd. He's going to be your name there. He's projected to be valued at $20 million a year. That's stinking nuts, but he played really well last season. I want to say he's going to be back with the Jags, but that price tag might be too expensive. Team like the Raiders who have money to spend, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not excited about their options at linebacker. Matter of fact, most of them are free agents, like Devin White, free agent. Who else was there? Golly, I'm blanking. Doesn't even matter, but was it Eldon Robert? It was Eldon Roberts. Okay, thought so. But I think Lloyd could be an option. If not Lloyd, I have Devin Bush here, who's coming off a really good year, played really well under Schwartz. Schwartz resigning, new coaching staff in tow. Maybe he doesn't go back to the Browns. Raiders, again, if you don't want to spend the money on Lloyd, Bush could be a really good option. He really can. Just breaking out last year. You'd love to see it. He's my number 3 option in free agency. I love Leo Chenal. Some people don't believe he can play in coverage and that he has to come off the field on passing downs. I think he's a good enough athlete where it's like, hey, give this dude a shot. Just give him a shot. He could be back with the Chiefs if the price tag isn't too expensive. I think the Jets would be really fun. They love those guys that can play just downhill early downs. Think Derek Barnes, who was there under Aaron Glenn back in Detroit. So, yeah, I'm a big Leo Chenal guy. We could go to, you got a couple of old heads here that are still playing good football in Bobby Wagner and Demario Davis. Man, part of me wants to put Davis ahead of him, ahead of Wagner. Honestly, they're basically the same tier. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, they're up there in years. Davis entering his age 37 year, Wagner age 36. They are short-term options if you want to pay them to come in and just command your defense. For locations for Wagner landed spot, he could go back to the Commanders, sure, fine. Go back with Dan Quinn, or he could go to the Rams, wrap up his career with a team he spent a long time with. I'm trying to remember, was it I think the Seahawks drafted Wagner. Now that I think about it, but he spent, how many years did he spend with the Rams? He was born in LA, so there is that. All right. So yeah, drafted. Oh, he spent a long time. Oh my gosh, he only spent 1 year with the Rams? Lol, why do I feel like it was like a 3-year stint? Probably just because he played the Rams so often when he was a Seahawk. Hey, man. That's why you go and fact check yourself. Your memory isn't always your best friend. I will say, though, Demario Davis did play a bulk of his career, a good portion of it with the Saints and the Jets. I don't see him returning back to the Jets. I just don't. I see him maybe going to a competitor. If he doesn't stick around with the Saints, he could maybe go to a team like the Bears, who you had the late season injury to TJ Edwards. Tremaine Edmonds could be a cap casualty. So that could be a landing spot for him. Caden Ellis, man, he gets overlooked and undervalued, but he's such a fun player. I could see him going to the Broncos. That could be a really good spot for him. He could remain with the Falcons, but with the new coaching staff, are they looking to just get younger at a variety of different positions? I don't know. Ellis, good player though. Nakobe Dean, when healthy, good player. I think he could be a good low-cost option for the Cowboys or even the Bucks. Maybe the Bucks bring back a Levante David if he chooses not to retire. Not like David had a great year, but neither did the linebacker next to him. Fortunately for, Servase Denise. Just didn't play well. So they need linebacker desperately. I imagine they're going to bring in one or two via free agency. You got Micah McFadden out here. Him and Quay Walker kind of in a similar tier for me. Just one's more expensive than the other. Quay Walker maybe goes to the Dolphins because of Halfley. I don't know. We're kind of good at linebacker, so kind of hoping we don't go the Quay Walker route. And then you got Quincy Williams coming off a down year, but that was the New York Jets last season. I think we could see him reunite with Saleh in Tennessee, or go try to play with his brother again for Dallas. That would mean he's probably going to be making closer to $5 million than this $9.2 million he's projected at, but we shall see. Levante David is going to die a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I believe that with my heart. If he's not retiring, he's going to play one more year with the Bucs. We got a couple of, honestly, like they're fine starters. Guys like Alex Anzalone, Justin Trinad, you got Alex Singleton. I think these are guys that aren't going to flash like dominance or anything, but you could plug them in and be like, okay, we got a good Band-Aid for the position until we find a more long-term option. Anzalone obviously could go back with Aaron Glenn to the Jets or just come back to the Lions. And then, we got some, I'm going to put patch here for Jermaine Pratt, because I think he kind of turned it around when he reunited with Coach Lou. But Matt Milano, like none of these really feel like long-term options. I think we're, for the most part, in the backup to depth options when we get down to like an Landon Roberts. But I mean, you could swing on Devin White. He's still awful in coverage, but I mean, good athlete. He's going to come downhill with his hair on fire. Don't mind that. But no, it's honestly a solid linebacker class. Let's talk secondary. Let's talk corner. because low-key, I kind of like this corner class. Jameel Dean. If you're not new to the channel, you know I am the biggest mark when it comes to Jameel Dean. I think he's when healthy, which guy doesn't necessarily always play a full season, but when healthy, he's one of the better corners in the NFL. I think he's a top 15. I'm gonna stick with that. I think he's a top 15 corner in the NFL. I love me Jameel Dean. Now, I don't think he's back with the Bucs just because that's how they restructured his deal. I think it was to let him move on. Maybe he goes to the Titans, who could use some corner help. The Colts could use some corner help. I don't think there's specifically any ties or dots connecting him there. You could throw the Rams up there. I was just trying to think of corner needy teams that actually have some cheddar to spend. I got Cordell Flott here at 2. I get it. His size isn't great. What is he up to now? Is he? Because I think he came into the league at like 165, but he was so darn young that you were willing to say, hey, maybe, just maybe, he fills out that frame. But he's 6'2". They got him at 175. It's kind of an awkward size, but he's been able to hang tough outside. He could play in the slot. So Rams were kind of easy the first team that came to my mind. Dolphins could be in that category too. Halfley has been shown to be okay with either smaller or thinner corners. So maybe Dolphins need corner desperately. So I got Flott. Listen, he's so young at 25. Why not, man? Just why not? Montaric Brown coming off a breakout year. I think the Jags bring him back. It's as simple as that. Maybe the Packers get in on it. I was looking at this at my spreadsheet and I was like, man, I really don't have the Packers picking up really any free agent. So I don't know. I was like, why not? Take a shot at Brown. Get him pair up with, you got Nixon, you still got Hobbs, you got Valentine there. So just kind of hoping the secondary in general. Jalen Watson, like low key, no one really talks about Jalen Watson. He's just been such a dependable corner for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think if you're looking for dependable teams like Commanders and the Vikings, they wouldn't mind that. I think he'd be a really good fit for the Vikings. Just a really good fit. A guy that can play in phase, play in man, if you need him to. Or the Vikings, who they've kind of moved back or moved more towards a zone-heavy scheme. But, I mean, we're talking, what, like cover 3-esque, or at least showing one high, and essentially just playing zone to eventually where it becomes man. So we're talking like man, or what do they call it? Match man principles and whatnot. But yeah, I think Watson would just be a really good fit for Flores. The Commanders just need help at corner, so that makes sense. Eric Stokes coming off a breakout year where he was finally healthy. I think the Raiders bringing him back would just be smart. If he doesn't get brought back to the Raiders, the Steelers are definitely looking for someone that could play opposite of Porter. As it stands right now, we'll see what the Steelers, how they feel about Porter in the future. And then after that, because I think these would be the guys I'm for sure going after. And then the rest of the group has some questions, really aside from Rasul Douglas, who's just older. You're signing him to a 1-year deal, and he's probably going to play really good for you. But Roger McCreary, he shows up with the Rams, but he was hurt, never really played a lot of snaps for the Rams. I think the Rams, you traded for him. Maybe you just get him cheap on a 1-year deal, 1-year prove-it deal. Reek Wolin is set to hit the market. Yeah, sure, he's got some frustrating plays out there, but he's still big. He's still fast. So I could see the Seahawks. They got the funds to bring him back. Why not? The Bengals, he would kind of fit an Al Golden type of scheme, so kind of like him there. Alontae Taylor, very flexible, versatile. That's a better word to use. Versatile defensive back, kind of turned it on at the end of the year. So I could see the Saints bringing him back. If not, I think the Rams should probably be in play for him just because of that versatility. Nashawn Wright, he's coming off a contract year where he was a journeyman up until last season. So what are we going to do about this? Does he come back to the Bears? They don't have the funds for that. They got to figure out what they're going to do with their safeties. So no, he's not coming back. And they already got Jalen Johnson. They got Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson. No, they're not bringing back Wright. He's going to go get paid elsewhere. That could be the Jets. That could be the Commanders. We'll see. And then we got two tough corners that have been playing a lot on the outside, but maybe they profile better as slots other places. Kobe Durant from the Rams, Meek Robertson from the Lions. I could see the Steelers picking up on Robertson just because he plays with that stank. They got Patrick Graham. Oh, I didn't even mention the Patrick Graham connection there for Eric Stokes, because that's who's the DC for the Steelers now. So look at that. But those are two fun players. Let's keep going. I got Asante Samuel Jr., who he had honestly, him and Trevon Diggs kind of in the same category. Samuel with the neck injury, trying to get back, and was slowly working his way into the lineup for the Steelers. Diggs just has been recovering from that knee injury, right? Yeah, he had knee soreness stemming from the ACL injury in 2023. I heard for the most part last year, though, he was kind of ready to go. They just never really activated him, but I don't know. Maybe the Commanders, maybe Diggs wants to see the Cowboys twice a year. We could say Asante Samuel to the Cowboys could make sense as a low-cost option. The Saints, because Staley has some familiarity with Asante Samuel, so I think that would make sense. We got some interesting options with Joshua Williams. Never really got his time there with the Chiefs. They just seem to like other corners more. James Pierre flashed in moments this year for the Steelers. Josh Jobe had some moments for the Seahawks. I imagine they bring him back just because that's good money. Or I feel like that's money well spent. Here we go. Depth. We got Cam Taylor-Britt, Greg Newsome, coming off abysmal seasons. Abysmal. If they want to succeed, they're going to have to go elsewhere. Newsome could go to Stefanski's familiar with them. I know Stefanski was the head coach. You know, it's not like he's just this offensive guy, so he only knows about the offensive players. Raiders could be an option if they want to throw Newsome back into the slot. They didn't really have a good slot player last season. Darnay Holmes was kind of their guy there. And then you had just kind of the safeties splitting time in the slot. So Newsome could be on the table for the Raiders. But there's like fun names as depth down here. Chidobe Awuzie, Kader Kohou, who's missed all of last year with ACL injury. D. Alford played good in the slot after Billy Bowman went down. So yeah, there's some options. Now let's wrap this sucker up in a bow. Let's talk safety. Kobe Durant, I'm going to have him as my top safety. It was close between him and Jaquan Brisker. And to be fair, Cameron Curl and Brian Cook. They're all going into their age 27th season. So they're just very alluring prospects. I think Bryant probably has the better center field potential, though I'm not going to pretend like he played a lot of center field. They played a lot of quarters and cover 6 there in Seattle. But still, Kobe Bryant, a former corner coming out of Cincinnati. He does got some speed to him. Jaquan Brisker, I like him as a split safety box option. Cam Curl is just great around the line of scrimmage. He's a box player. Byron Cook, a little more versatility to him. So those are your top options. Where they go, I feel like Kobe Bryant, hey, Seahawks, you got the money, bring him back. Could go to the Raiders. Again, Kubiak's over there. Jaquan Brisker, I feel like he should be like the top option for the Bears to bring back, but we'll see. Raiders got the money to spend. Their safety position wasn't great, mainly Isaac, what is it? Palomalo? I don't know. They re-signed him and he didn't have a great year last year. So the Raiders, I think, are going to be hunting or looking for a safety. Cameron Curl, I think there's good reason to believe he'll be back with the Rams. If not, I could definitely see him going to the Niners. He just fits that style of defense. That's what they like with their safeties. And then Byron Cook could go to the Steelers, who honestly, outside of Jalen Ramsey, what are they doing at safety? Because I think Chuck Clark's a free agent. Kyle Duggar's a free agent. Peppers is a free agent. So they have a opening at safety. You can say the same thing about the Colts if they don't bring back like a Nick Cross, or if they're not encouraged by what Nick Cross did last season. And then Kevin Byard, he's a mercenary. He's going to be playing on a 1-year deal for you. I think the Bears could bring him back. I think the Chargers, who lost Lohi Gilman, Tony Jefferson played a lot of meaningful snaps for him, but I think it would just make sense if they want to go out and get a Byard to kind of bridge the gap there. They have Elijah Moulton as well. You got James playing a lot around the box, so made sense for me. Jalen Thompson, Jalen Hawkins. Well, no, Jalen Thompson's kind of in a tier of his own as far as kind of a low end starter, but just quality. He's going to give you good play year after year. That's why the Steelers make sense, because he could be maybe a more low budget option. I think that $9.5 million a year might be a bit of a high ball. Could return to the Cardinals as well. Jalen Hawkins coming off a breakout season late in his career, but still nonetheless, I could see him coming back to the Patriots. Kyle Duggar, he's a versatile player. I think like a Dan Quinn wouldn't mind a player like that. Again, kind of fits the profile for the 49ers as well. Nick Cross, I'm a big Nick Cross fan. I'm hoping his best football is ahead of him. He played well at the beginning of the year, and then as the secondary started to crumble, he was kind of a part of that. He could be back with the Colts. They see something in him. Maybe he goes with the Titans. Again, Gus Bradley connection there. I love Andre Cisco. Listen, I get it. It's high risk, high reward with him. But I'm a gambler. I don't mind playing that game with Andre Cisco. That's why he makes it into my top 10 safeties. Reed Blankenship, he's coming off not a great season. He could go back to the Eagles for the right price. You could follow Christian Parker, who's now, again, the DC for the Cowboys. You got a Loie Gilman, who I've never loved Gilman, but I got respect. Like, he's one of the better split high box safeties in the league. I think he could be back with the Ravens, especially with Minter being the head coach. Minter's already familiar with Gilman for his time with the Chargers. So I think him just coming back to the Ravens makes all the sense in the world. Maybe the Saints. They love spending money in free agency on safeties. Then down here, just some names. I honestly believe when it comes to the safety market, these are the guys we're talking about. So it's a good group, 12. But outside of that, we're talking depth options. Like Chuck Clark could come in and start for you and be A-okay. Be solid. Be good. Ardarius Washington, he got banged up last year. I believe in the player still. It's just we need to see it. Harrison Smith, I feel like he's either a Viking or he retires. We got CJ Gardner-Johnson, which, golly, you just never know. You never know with him what type of player you're going to get when it comes to not just on the field, but in the locker room. Jordan Blackman, Donovan Wilson, Nick Scott, Jordan Poyer, Jason Pinnock, Ifeatu Melifonwu. This is just a group of guys that, like, yeah, they could be starters, but you're not excited about it. You're just not. Just kind of where they're at. Jamal Adams isn't really much of a safety, so he's here. Geno Stone. Who's going to give this cat a shot? I don't know. Maybe he had... Oh, so, okay. I think this is logical. If he... Let's say Kobe Bryant does leave via free agency, I can see Mike McDonald being like, hey, Stone, come back. You remember when you had that contract year for us with the Ravens? Come on back. Come on back. Come on back on a low deal. You got Tony Adams here for the Jets. Just a very average to below average starter. Dane Belton, I think, is just good depth this juncture. But yeah, honestly, safety group's kind of deep. But there it is. There is your free agent class as it stands before we get to releases and cap casualties and whatnot. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What free agent do you hope your team snags this offseason? But as always, till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.